evening, everybody. It is Pop Up Sunday, Sunday Night Soul. How is everyone? Welcome to August. Welcome to your month of shifting and transition. I am Renee Cooper. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in for the replay viewers. This oil is for you too, and let it be refreshed and renewed. I am so glad to have an opportunity to be back with you. Summer has been amazing, and my August, well, in August, but my was, woo, July was amazing. It was the month of miracles, and every day something transpired, and it's building and building and building. I am just getting over one of those summer AC colds, being in the inside the building, AC is on blast. Outside it's 90 and 100 degrees, so it caught up with me. But I'm coming on through, and it is so good to see you. It's so good to be back with you. I just want to share with you that this is the month of continuation. It's a brand new month. But August, of course, the number 8 is our number, and know that that is the beginning. And I am telling you, you're going to have a phenomenal August. Why? Because God couldn't finish His work with you in 31 days, and it is going to continue. You're going to start to see the manifestation of things happen and transpire in this month. And with that, I am very thankful. I am grateful. I'm not going to be in front of you long because I got to get out of here before we get to midnight, right? Into our next day. And then tomorrow on Monday, the 7th, I have an announcement. So I will be live at 7 p.m. If God says the same. Y'all pray for me. It's stuff that's in my brain. But I will be back at 7 tomorrow night. Keep supporting it. It's all good. Nothing bad. It's all good. It's feeling good. It's looking good. Everything is well. Father, we just thank you for this moment in time, God. I ask that you will bless the live people right now. That they hear something that's said by you through you that will shift and change them. For the replay viewers, I ask that you would do the same. Allow them to hear something that is specifically for them so that they can move forth in what you have for them. Let this be their month, oh God, that they move in power and that they get things in place to see what you have coming their way. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. 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 So listen, I wanted to talk to you tonight about something very specific, and it is the simple fact that there is something called trust. You've heard it, it's not new, but it's a lot of us that are still in it. It's a lot of us that are still experiencing some form of trauma. And as I have been prepping and preparing for the new and making changes to receive what God has coming, I had to realize that there's still some things that needs to be cleaned up. And that is the trauma bond. That is the thing is keeping you. When you are trying to elevate and erect change, um, Evangelist Olivia, God bless you. I love you. And we must talk this week. I miss you intensely. And I would love to speak with you on the phone. So I'm going to DM you my number so we can talk. I haven't spoken with you in quite some time. But trauma is something that will isolate you. And as that isolation takes place, you can't move forward. You want to change, You want to buy new, you want to move new, you want to dress new, you want to change your hair, you want to change all the outer extremities. But the trauma is still living on the inside of you. And so now you can't move forward. And there's something that is holding up your receiving. There is something holding up your receiving. And so that's what we're going to deal with very quickly tonight. In Psalms 91, the second verse says this: I say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God whom I trust. Surely He shall deliver me from the snare of the hunter and from the deadly pestilence. He shall cover you with his feather, with an S, and under his wings you shall find protection. The trauma that you have experienced, whether it's through childhood, whether it is through relationships, whether it's through experiences, it has to be released to God so that He can then move it out of the way. But we don't know how to release it. And here's the thing, we don't even know how to identify it. A trauma is an emotional connection to a person. Maybe it might be in a relationship, to a place. It could be a location, it could be a building, to an experience, good, bad, or indifferent, or an event. When we came through a pandemic, that was a trauma that the world bonded over. Everyone had an experience. Everyone was in that event. It didn't escape anyone, but everybody came out different. It started to do something else that is connected to trauma, which is triggers. It started triggering people who are extroverts, who were stuck in the house and couldn't go out. It wasn't safe to leave. It started triggering the fact that they climb the walls when they have to be stagnant and in one place. There is so much trauma that happens in your life. The longer you live, you've experienced it. And so, in order to move forward, God is saying that you have to deal with the trauma that is in your life. If you have lost a loved one and you have not sought counseling, it is traumatic to lose a person, whether from natural causes, whether they commit suicide, or they have a tragic death ending. It causes something in your spirit that starts to get pressed down. And it does not arise until something else triggers it. And so traumas and triggers go together. Why? Because the trauma is pressed down in you, but the triggers are there to remind you and let you know, hey, it's something still in you that has to come out. There's something that has to come forth. And I'm telling you, God is moving. July was the month of miracles. The month of miracles has been happening for people. Things have been happening in people's lives. I started out in the beginning of 2023 telling you and talking and posting and texting and saying that there is change coming. There is movement coming. And not just God blessing you, but Him putting you in your rightful place, putting you in position. There are some of us who are behind schedule, and He is resurrecting the time. He is pulling us forward. But we are moving forward along with the trauma, and it's causing baggage because it's so weighty. That weight on you, it's causing you to operate in unbelief. It's causing you to not have faith. It's causing you to not believe God when he says a thing. It's causing you to read the scripture and not identify with it. It is causing strife. It is causing you to stay when you know you need to leave. It is causing you to make bad decisions. It's causing you to hold up the move of God in your life. The actual trauma has come face to face with you. And the Lord is making an opportunity for you to experience it right now. You need to experience the trauma. You need to relive it. You need to walk back through it. You need to have that visual experience so that you can get all of it out. Because when you get on the other side of it, you're going to find that it didn't have the power over you that you thought it did. You're going to walk in a victory that you have never experienced. You're going to walk in a brand new light. You're going to be walking down a brand new street called hope. You're going to be walking down a whole nother street called freedom and deliverance. You're going to be walking. And as you walk, everything, every weight and sin that it is so easily beset upon you, it's going to come right off of you as you go forth. Why? Because it is time for the trauma to be broken. I said, God, we know about trauma. We know what triggers the trauma. So either we continue to return to it like vomit, or we totally avoid it completely. Hence, your relationships. Hence, your deliverance. Hence, your transition. Look at it. Look at the thing that you've asked God for, and then how is it moving? How is it happening? What are you missing? What is waiting? What is not there? You cannot move around it. You can't carry it with you, beloved. You must deal with it. And you have the power. Because tonight he is saying, today he is saying, Psalms 91 is how you're going to move through it. How you're going to be delivered from it. How you're going to face and tell it that it has no power with you. How you're going to look your enemy in the face and say, you have no power over me anymore. This used to break my heart, but now I'm good. It just brushed right off of me. Because I'm free, because I'm delivered, because God says his feathers will cover me. And his wings, I'll be able to find protection. That means when the enemy comes to seek you out and comes to push that button and trigger your trauma, you're going to tell him, I am free, I am delivered, I am healed. You have no power anymore. Now, here's the thing. I was having a conversation with a dear friend, and the conversation says this. This is what we identified in the conversation. Sorry, y'all, phone ringing. Let me turn it off. So here's the thing. Threw me off. I said the only way that you can continue to walk with someone that you've experienced trauma with is if both of you are in a brand new place. You have been delivered and freed from the trauma, and the person, place, experience has been freed from continuing to let the trauma happen. So now you both are on the same page. You're head to head. So you might be able to move forward. But if the person, place, event, or experience is still the same, you have to remove yourself. This is going to be the hardest part of this when you move it into the last quarter of the year. Because in order for the things that are coming into your life to actually manifest and live with you, you have to let the trauma out. And if that trauma is in relationships, it's going to be hard for some of you to have the conversation, I love you, but I got to go. I can't walk with you anymore. This is not the season. Maybe down the road along the way, but not right now. Because right now, you can't do anything else to get in the way of what God is doing in your life. Your traumas can certainly be unhealthy. Trauma in your body not dealt with brings upon you disease or dis-ease. It brings something upon you that needs to shift out of your body. So because you don't deal with the trauma and you hold it in, my sister, you have all these fibroids going on in your body. Because you haven't let it go. Something's going on inside of you that needs to break off of you. Weight gains. It's trauma. It may even be medical. Sometimes it's not that you're overeating, that you're gaining. It's something imbalanced in you, and maybe it's a trauma underlying somewhere that's causing your body to be out of alignment, and it's holding weight. And the moment that the trauma drops off, so will the weight that so easily wants to beset upon you. I'm telling you, trauma will no longer live with you, because tonight it will be broken. Tonight is the last night. Today, when you're watching this, it's the last day that you're going to deal with it. It's over with. It's done. Trauma is not a biblical word. It's a psychological word. It's something in your psyche that is connecting you to an experience that you can't seem to forget and you cannot seem to let go. And I am not overlooking the seriousness of some of the things that you may have experienced. Rape, molestation. You were robbed at gunpoint. Something very traumatic happened to you. You were left by your parents. You had a swimming accident and you almost drowned. Your boat capsized and you made it and someone else didn't. There are traumas that shake you, and I'm aware. But it's just as sure as it shakes you and makes you feel a way that you feel like you cannot get over, God has the answer. He has the ability to do it in the twinkling of an eye. It's not going to take long for God to do it. All you got to do is surrender it to Him. The longer you allow trauma to stay and be a part of your life, especially if it's at the hand of a person, manipulation gets in the way. They can begin to manipulate you because that trauma that you are experiencing is too painful to face, and they know it, and they use it against you through triggers. Interestingly enough, we have childhood traumas, we have generational traumas, which really are generational curses. And interestingly enough, as I was studying, the way the trauma becomes generational or a curse becomes generational, it gets in the genes. So whatever is inside of you, that's why it's so important who you connect with and who you recreate with. Whoever you have a baby by, man or woman, it's important because whatever is in them, whatever is in their lineage, is going to be in your seed and your offspring. The same spiritually. Whatever is in that leader and whoever developed them, it will be in you because you sit under them and receive from them. And if they have trauma that's unhealed, then you have trauma that's unhealed. That's why sometimes we're connected, we're sitting, we are working in the wrong place, wrong city, wrong relationship, going to the wrong conferences, hooking up with the wrong coaches, the wrong mentors, because game recognizes game, but trauma recognizes trauma and it connects. That trauma that's in this individual, you might not see it with your naked eye, but it's about spirits and spirits connect. You know, people say it's something about it. We have like a kindred spirit. It's something about us that recognize one another. You can walk in a room of 100 people and you'll find someone else in that room and say, oh, I like her. Or, oh, I like this person, because there's an identity that happens. That's that connection, that kinetic draw, good, bad, or indifferent. If it's bad, if it's drawing to a trauma that is lying dormant in you that you have not released, you got yourself a problem. This is why if you dating and you find that you are dating the same person in a different body with a different name from a different location and a different surname, but the same individual, they walk in the same spirit, and 6 months or a year down the road, you find out, oh my God, this is the same person. This is the same situation we left last year. Same thing, same place, different season, but the same type of thing going on. We got to kill it. We're killing it tonight. Here's how we kill it. Psalms 1, 4, 7, and 3. It says, the Lord builds up Jerusalem. He gathers together the outcasts of Israel, or the people who are going through trauma, gathers them. He heals the broken hearted and binds up the wound. The word binding up, as I'm wrapping up tonight, not literally, because we always say he's a healer and he binds up our wounds. He binds, not literally. It's not a binding and a tying of a wound. But here's the thing, it's not physical, it's a metaphor. And he's moving to bind up your wound in 3 different ways that only he can do. He's going to move with you through compassion. He's going to move with you through kindness, loving kindness that only God can do. Because people, they have 5 minutes for your issue and then they're done with you. But God is with you until the end. And the third way is that he's a helper of those who are in need. There's a need. You have a need, and the trauma that is inside of you, there is a need for it to be gone, for it to be broken, never to be mended, never to be put back, unrecognizable. If you ever have been molested or mistreated or raped, any of those type of traumas, your biggest flex is if in fact you can look in the face of the person who had offended you and not be moved and be able to bid them adieu. And that's when you know he's a helper of those who are in need. He wants the trauma to be gone, because after the trauma is out of you, you can no longer be triggered. And the telltale sign that you are still being triggered and people can push your buttons, that tells you there's a trauma inside of you that you need to give to him and only him. He's the only one that can heal it. He's the only one that can deal with it. He's the only one that's kind enough to stay with you all the way. He's the only one who has compassion for what is going on inside of your heart. He wants your heart fixed. He wants your heart mended. You cannot get the greatness and the goodness of God that is coming to your life, the changes that are coming, the elevations that are coming. It has to be with a loving, contrite heart. It has to be with a soft, warm, compassionate heart. And the only way it can be in that condition is if you let him mend what is wounded. That's the hardest part. And this is the last part. We are in the 8th month, and I am speaking to your month of new, this 8th month, that the rest of the days, we're day 6, almost into 7. The next days will be the best days. This is the end of an old thing. There is closure coming in this month for you, because we are in the newness of things. He wants to get your spiritual body prepared for the birthing. That's 9. 9 is birthing. There's something new coming inside of you. You have to make room for the seed of new that is coming inside of you. And right now, he wants to finish you. This is the 6th day, the number of man, the number of humanity. He wants to finish you. And the finishing work is to remove and heal the trauma. Father, in the name of Jesus, we ask that you would heal the broken-hearted today like never before. We ask that you would remove the trauma. Let them give it to you and you remove it. Some of the traumas are so deep and they cut and they hurt and they can't face it. God, you are the God of loving kindness. Walk them through it. Let the work be renewed, the work be quick, so the next is coming for them. We ask this in your precious, matchless name. Heal them from the inside. There's something great coming for you. I know y'all say that all the time. I'm an optimist, yes, but I really mean it from the depths of my heart. There's something great for you. Things that you're waiting on. I know he's been good, but he has more. And see, this time, it's not just about you. He has to do it through you, because there are people watching you. And if he can do it through you, it's going to encourage somebody. Do you not know the people that you've been had traumatic experiences with, and by their hand? Do you not know when God finishes with you, there's going to be such a transition. There's going to be such a shift in who they are based on what's happening with you. you, and there's an apology coming. It may not be from the person that offended you, but the apology is coming because God is going to deliver. He's going to heal that hurt, and it won't even matter anymore. And when you get to that place, you will begin to unlock the treasures that have been waiting for you. I'm not talking about houses, cars, clothes, and money. I'm not talking about that stuff. I'm talking about riches of wealth that cannot be bought. I'm talking about good relationships with people who really care something about you. I'm talking about people who are going to ride with you, people who are going to elevate you and lift you up, people who are going to know your name, know what you do, or a modicum of what you do, but know you're the one and make a referral. I'm saying to you, better is coming to your life. Quality is coming to your life. These are accoutrements of wealth, not just living in a 10,000 square foot house. There's more to life than that. It's nice. But what you have to experience is wealth unspeakable, joy unspeakable, healing unspeakable, deliverance unspeakable, trauma free unspeakable. It's a traumatic experience for a person who has spent 10 years, 20 years, their entire life building a career, and then for someone to come along and say, we will replace you with your own image. That's traumatic. To think that my gift and the thing that I'm called to do can be replaced. You are irreplaceable. No one can do it but you. I don't care how many people do what you do, no one else can be you. No one else can bring what you bring to the table. I'm telling you, it has to be you. Like Frank Sinatra said, it had to be you. It has to be you. The world is waiting for you to be you. And your last stop is to break the trauma bond. You're going to get your power back. We're going to pray power prayers this month, the rest of August. We're going to pray power prayers, and you're going to speak your I am statements. I am free. I am trauma free. I am happy. I am. You're going to speak it. This is not naming and claiming and faking it. This is moving in the right direction. Your I am statements will continue to tell trauma you no longer have power over me because I am trauma free. Y'all have a wonderful rest of your day. I thank you for stopping by and checking on your sister. I will be with you tomorrow for a great announcement at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time live in God's name. Have a great night. Have a good morning. And by all means, break the trauma bond. Love you. Good night. Good morning.